enjoyed seeing the South American teams playing during this tournament, but it's absolutely no surprise to anyone that we're going to have two European teams in the final.
No, and it's no surprise that the resources that these football clubs have clearly have a difference. And actually, because of the stage that the tournament is being played in, I think the size of the squads in particular, I think, has played a part. The fact that the South American teams are, midway through their competitions has definitely evened things out. But once again, that strength in depth, certainly that these two clubs have, has really helped them progress through the tournament.
And the referee, Simon Marciniak of Poland, who was in charge of the most recent World Cup final, just meeting the two captains, Valverde and Marquinhos, in the centre circle. A reminder of the two teams once again. Real Madrid, of course, able to recall Kylian Mbappe, but there is no Trent Alexander-Arnold due to an injury in training yesterday. It is Courtois in goal. Looks like a back four. Valverde, Asensio, who was coming for the suspended Dean Huyson, and Rudiger alongside Fran Garcia. You can hear Michael Buffer in the background as well, of course. That's another feature of the closing stages of the Club World Cup. Shalmani will move into midfield tonight, with Arda Güler and Bellingham just ahead of him, with Vinicius Junior and Gonzalo Garcia supporting Kylian Mbappe. The big change for Paris Saint-Germain sees the return of Ousmane Dembele following his injury as well, and the player who drops out is Bradley Barcola. They're also missing William Pancho due to suspension, so Lucas Beraldo comes into the back four. It's Donnarumma in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Beraldo and Mendes the back four. João Neves, Vitinha and Ruiz in midfield, with Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia in attack. Before we get underway at the MetLife Stadium, there has been a goal in the match currently underway over on TalkSport 2. Wales, of course, meeting France at the Women's Euro 2025. Let's get an update with TalkSport's Emily Herbert.
And France take the lead as a set-piece corner kick, and Clara Mattio's there in the box to thump it home. A reminder, if Wales lose tonight, they won't mathematically be out of Euro 2025, but their fate would no longer be in their hands. 8 minutes played, it's France 1, Wales 0.
UEFA Women's Euro 2025 update on TalkSport with McDonald's. When the big match means big McDonald's hunger, try the new and iconic Big Arch. Available from 11 a.m. at participating restaurants.
Thanks to Emily, we are underway. Real Madrid wearing all white, Paris Saint-Germain in their dark blue. And it's the Parisians defending the goal away to our left in the first half on another stiflingly hot day at the MetLife Stadium. The air temperature 32 degrees Celsius, but with the humidity of around 50%, it's going to feel like 40 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit at pitch level. It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon in New York, or New Jersey, and considering the conditions, we've seen some games of very good tempo so far.
Yeah, they've coped well in this tournament. Many of the teams, many of the players. That's lovely from Mbappe.
And very quickly, Gonzalo picks out Vinicius Junior, and now wide towards the far side again, and Real Madrid are quickly on the attack with Arda Güler, and now Shalmani steps in field, not known for his goals, but his right-footed shot takes a deflection and bubbles behind for the game's first corner.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, isn't it? A real sharp start from the top players in the world, fist into Kylian Mbappe, little Cruyff flick straight in towards Vinicius Junior, and when it got cleared out towards Shalmani, a good strike that was deflected.
And the short corner routine between Mbappe and Vinicius Junior doesn't come off, and it's quickly brought forward now for Paris Saint-Germain on this near side, and it's a good run from the young star Desiree Doué, who has really taken Europe by storm. 2 goals in the Champions League final against Inter. PSG quickly transfer it wide to the left. Dembele waits in the centre, and the shot low in towards the near post from Kvaratskhelia from about the same square yard of grass from where Nicholas Jackson hit the side netting last night.
And we are coming accustomed to seeing Kvaratskhelia on that left-hand side. He is one of the most positive players I've certainly seen in the modern game. A wide player that when the ball goes out towards him, he just instantly, that first touch is to take it towards the fullback. Valverde will have his work cow. He's an incredible athlete, is the Uruguayan, but he's going to be really tested by Kvaratskhelia in this game.
And of course, with Trent Alexander-Arnold playing as the right back, you can guarantee he'll get forward. But Valverde is a very mobile player, but he'll be more wary, I think, of what's coming back the other way.
Yeah, I think that's why there's been the change in system from Xabi Alonso to the back four, needing that extra player in midfield, that defensive player in Tchouaméni in midfield, and Valverde with that energy and pace to cope with Kvaratskhelia.
3 minutes played, 0-0. Kvaratskhelia coming forward again on the far side, the left for Paris Saint-Germain, and he's got support, and it's back towards Vitinha, and now Kvaratskhelia again, and now an opportunity for Real Madrid to maybe just reset here. Marquinhos midway inside the Real half. Mbappe rather ambles across to Dembele, but it's gathered now by Hakimi. Hakimi finding Dembele again, and there's an opportunity here, and a low shot from Ruiz is turned aside superbly by Courtois. Fabian Ruiz had no room at all there, but still managed to test the goalkeeper.
Yeah, well worked down the right-hand side. Hakimi into Dembele, just flicked around the corner to Fabian Ruiz, really tried to craft that, curl that towards the far corner. It took a sticky bounce really off the surface, and Courtois did very well.
And now Hakimi with a low cross in. Oh, brilliant save by Courtois to keep out the shot at the far post. How on earth did he save that?
Well, Nuno Mendes thinks he scored, doesn't he? But what a save, and now Real Madrid on the counter-attack.
And now an opportunity for Gonzalo Garcia. Plays it square to Mbappe. Right foot shot from him is blocked. He's got support from Arda Güler. Güler plays the ball inside. And in the end, it is cleared away. And Chalmeni will gather. And already we've had the sort of game we were hoping for with 5 minutes played, as Gonzalo gathers again. Finds Vinicius Junior. Right-hand side of the penalty area. And now the cross will be delivered, and it takes a deflection, put towards goal by Mbappe, but got nothing behind it, and it's gathered by Donnarumma.
Oh, tough start, isn't it, in this game? I mean, the save from Courtois is outstanding with his feet. Nuno Mendes thinks he scored at the back post, and then Real Madrid go on the counter-attack, and Mbappe's shot is blocked, and then Güler with the in-swinging left-footed cross that Mbappe just tries to flick over his right shoulder, and just didn't quite get enough on it to trouble Donnarumma.
Now Kvaratskhelia coming forward again. We'll be back to the France-Wales game very shortly, where there's been more action, but Paris Saint-Germain are moving it forward now with João Neves, Dembele, and there's an opportunity for Doué to deliver the cross into the penalty area, and it's won back by Dembele. There's a mistake, Courtois falls him over, but it's turned in anyway. Fabian Ruiz with the opening goal for Paris Saint-Germain, and that goal says so much about their outlook. They simply wouldn't give it up all over the field. Dembele, it seemed, was going to win a penalty, but Fabian Ruiz wasn't waiting to see what happened. He turned the ball into an empty net. It is Paris Saint-Germain 1, Real Madrid 0.
Well, the referee lets it go, and it's the right decision. Fabian Ruiz just taps in the end, but what a mistake, Asensio. A really poor touch in the middle of his penalty area, trying to play out, trying to be clever in taking the touch and looking into midfield, but you've got to know that this Paris Saint-Germain team press from the front. Dembele's onto him so sharply and just takes it off his toes. Courtois comes diving out. It would have been a penalty, I'm sure of it, as Dembele just flicks it past the goalkeeper and gets taken down, but then Fabian Ruiz just rolls it into the empty net, and it has been an electric start in this semi-final.
Well, the Spanish international, Fabian Ruiz, with the opening goal for Paris Saint-Germain, but it's been a dramatic start over on TalkSport 2. Let's go straight back to France against Wales and Emily Herbert.
And Wales have the equaliser. It's their first goal at a major competition, and who else but Wales' record goal scorer, Jeff Bishloff, who put a body on the line inside the box to tap it in. They thought it was offside, but the goal stands. What a moment for the 38-year-old. There's still work to do, though. France have been on top, but Wales with these moments of magic. Game on. France 1, Wales 1.
UEFA Women's Euro 2025 update on TalkSport with McDonald's. When the big match means Big McDonald's hunger, try the new and iconic Big Arch. Available from 11 a.m. at participating restaurants.
And if you like football at all, you'll be delighted that Jess Fishlock has scored for Wales at a major tournament, as Vinicius Junior almost produces an equalising goal there for Real Madrid, and the game is absolutely frenetic in the opening stages.
Well, it's lived up to the billing so far, hasn't it? They know how to hype things up in the States, don't they? Michael Buffer with his famous line before kick-off. I bet you wish you got paid the same to introduce the teams, nice than he does. I mean, it's outrageous. But the game has been played at a ridiculous tempo so far, especially PSG. The way they press now, another mistake.
Oh, here's another mistake. It's Rudiger this time. Dembele's through, and Dembele scores. 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. 2 goals in 2 minutes, and both resulting from catastrophic Real Madrid defending. Rudiger this time the player who gave the ball away, and Ousmane Dembele striding clear to slide in his 35th goal of the season. That's why he's the Ballon d'Or contender. And Paris Saint-Germain are heading through to face Chelsea in the final. They're making light work of Real Madrid. It's 2-0.
Well, you can't make mistakes like that at any level, let alone against quality such as this. Ousmane Dembele was onto it so quickly once again, as he was for the first goal. And then Rudiger just looks at play, he just gets his feet all wrong. He clips it with his left foot and then swipes with the right and misses it. Dembele's onto it, 1v1 against Courtois. Rudiger actually, right at the last second, just tries to push Dembele in the back, but it's too late. Dembele's opened his body up and crispy side-footed it past Courtois into the corner. It's a beautiful finish. Composed finish from Ousmane Dembele.
Well, I'm not sure if Rudiger took his eye off the ball or just was...
No, you're right. That's what he's done. He's already looking into midfield before he's properly got control of it. And when you've got someone with the pace and the desire as Dembele's got, you can't switch off for a second.
Well, Courtois now hammers downfield. Paris Saint-Germain 2. Real Madrid 0 within the opening 10 minutes. Of course, all the drama came very late for Paris Saint-Germain in the quarter-final with that flurry of red cards and 2 late goals against Bayern Munich. Similar story in the Real Madrid quarter-final against Dortmund, but they've had opportunities here already, Real Madrid. They'll back themselves even in this sort of situation, but they made an absolutely awful start, and Xabi Alonso heading for his first defeat in charge. Now Due, wide to this near side again, and Akime.
Well, I know Pacho is suspended for this game. Ronaldo coming in. They've only conceded 1 goal in the competition. PSG, they've been excellent defensively so far in the competition, so it's a real test for Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso.
Well, now Fran Garcia has been penalised for a challenge on Due on this near side, and it will be a free kick for Paris Saint-Germain. And Xabi Alonso, hands on hips, on the edge of the technical area, must be wondering what his team has done here. Both central defenders with errors leading to goals within the opening 10 minutes.
Well, I think the thing that'll be frustrating is I'm sure they will have talked about it and seen lots of clips of this PSG side and the way that they press you. That'll be the disappointing part. Ultimately, as a manager, you can't affect the players making such terrible mistakes.
Free kick for Paris Saint-Germain. Vitinha takes it, headed away at the near post this time. And it will be a throw-in. And Xabi Alonso just telling his team to calm down here and try and communicate, because they're not doing either so far.
Well, there is obviously a change in the dugout. There are new ideas for these top players to deal with. There has been a change in the formation compared to the rest of the tournament. And PSG have taken full advantage already of that.
Fran Garcia with a throw-in for Real Madrid here. 2 down with 12 minutes played on TalkSport. Chelsea awaiting the winners in the final on Sunday, which will be live and exclusive to national radio on TalkSport 2 as Mbappe with a foul on João Neves, and it will be a free kick on the halfway line. If you've just joined us on TalkSport, the Lionesses beating the Dutch 4-0 to resurrect their Euro 2025 campaign. And Wales currently 1-1 with France midway through the first half. Jess Fishlock scoring Wales' first goal at a major tournament. As Nuno Mendes comes forward again here, but this time he is halted by the challenge. And it will be an opportunity for Real Madrid to try and catch their breath. And even before the goals, Nuno Mendes should have scored anyway. It was a brilliant save by Courtois.
It was, you're right. I just wonder, Rudiger is used to playing that right-hand-sided centre-back role. It's Asensio playing in that position. I wonder whether that did have an effect on Rudiger as he controlled that ball that came across with his head up.
And on the monitor, we can see Luka Modric on the Real Madrid bench. If they lose this game, this will be his final match with the club, although, of course, he is prolonging his career by moving to Milan for next season.
I mean, he might have a role to play. Look, I think it's Xabi Alonso's right. It's very early on in the game. There's no need to go chasing wildly. We need to build ourselves into the game. They're more than capable. We've seen it too often with this Real Madrid team.
Well, Bellingham found by Doué now, and it will be a free kick for Real Madrid. Midway inside the PSG half. 14 minutes played. It's been an extraordinary start to this game, with Paris Saint-Germain leading by 2-0. Fabian Ruiz and Ousmane Dembele within 9 minutes. Both real gifts thanks to the Real defence. Arda Güler with the free kick high into the penalty area. Cleared initially and then almost won back by Rudiger. Not sure what he was trying to do there at the far post, but at the end it's cleared away, but then quickly cut out and brought forward on the far side by Raul Asensio, who was culpable for the first goal, Rudiger for the second, as Kvaratskhelia tries a crossfield ball which doesn't get the distance, and Real have it back. Now Bellingham in the centre circle, but he's got João Neves following him around everywhere he goes at the moment, and there's no room at all for him to turn, as it's given away again by Real. An opportunity for Nuno Mendes to charge forward. He spots a gap and he finds Desiree Doué down the centre, but Fran Garcia comes across to make the challenge, and there was a foul there on the young fullback, and it will be a free kick for Real.
Well, they're bullying them in midfield at the moment, PSG. They can't cope. Tchouaméni, Güler, Bellingham, too much for them at the moment. Obviously, Güler and Bellingham in particular, they're attacking players. They are not used to particularly getting into defensive positions, spotting danger, being quick with those decisions deeper in the area of that pitch. PSG are just all over them.
Well, the last time these two sides played was in the round of 16 in the Champions League 3 years ago. Kylian Mbappe put PSG 2-0 up on aggregate before Karim Benzema scored a hat-trick. Now Dembele plays it forward for Hakimi, who characteristically is the furthest player forward, the right back, and it's a free kick.
It's incredible, isn't it, how he's given the licence to get forwards. It's Dembele that's just strayed, and then he underlaps the centre forward, does the right back, Hakimi, and he would have been onside.
And that game between PSG and Real was really symptomatic of how both Real would dig themselves out of holes in Europe, and PSG would find themselves to be extremely flaky when it really mattered. But on both sides of the ball, things now seem different. PSG leading 2-0 here on TalkSport on a day when England's women have already beaten the Netherlands by 4-0. And over on TalkSport 2 at the moment, Wales are drawing 1-1 with France, thanks to an equaliser from Jess Fishlock, as João Neves plays it wide to the far side, slid forward by Fabian Ruiz. Kvaratskhelia with the opportunity to attack. Valverde comes in field, lets fly right-footed, ricochets high into the air, headed away by Tchouaméni. And now gathered by Bellingham on the edge of the penalty area. Looks to thread the eye of the needle and release Vinicius Junior, but it's quickly won back by Paris Saint-Germain.
Wasn't that good from Marquinhos? Really aggressive, knowing that there was a bit of danger, but he stepped in and intercepted.
Now Nuno Mendes. Wide to Kvaratskhelia once again. Mendes just holding his run to stay on side. João Neves. Here is Vitinha. Vitinha's cross to the far post, nearly found Hakimi. He was headed away by Fran Garcia. Dembele quickly in field towards Vitinha again. And Lucas Beraldo, who has come into the team today following William Pacho's suspension. PSG are in control of this game at the moment. They are controlling the tempo. Real often like to inject a degree of chaos, which helps them get back into games, but they can't get the ball at the moment.
No, they're keeping the ball really nicely, aren't they? PSG, Vitinha, as always, just looking like he's loving life right now. Constantly on the ball, just popping it off. Little outside of the right foot's here. Flicks round the corner there. He's a joy at the moment in this PSG side. And then that just opens up the space out wide. And when they pop it wide, there's then the pace and the positivity from the wide players, Doué and Kvaratskhelia.
Well, Luis Garcia has won this competition in a different guise a decade ago with Barcelona, when they beat River Plate by 3-0. Messi and Suarez were on the score sheet. They were both involved in this competition with Inter Miami. But now, PSG on the counter-attack once again with Nuno Mendes. Wide to Kvaratskhelia. Valverde is backpedaling. Dembele waits on the edge of the penalty area. Kvaratskhelia just delaying, but goes back to Ruiz. And now, João Neves. Hakimi lets fly, right-footed. And Courtois was scrambling, but it was always heading wide.
They cannot get near them at the moment, Real Madrid. Mainly because actually, unlike Paris Saint-Germain, their forward players, Vinicius Junior, Gonzalo Garcia, Kylian Mbappe, they're not doing the tracking the way that it needs to be done. And Hakimi and Nuno Mendes are just pouring forwards, overloading those central areas, and that's allowing them then to get it wide to the wide players.
Now a long ball play forward for Vinicius Junior, who was in for a moment, but before he could get the shot, Nuno Mendes came in from nowhere to pick his pocket, and the opportunity goes for Real.
Well, it was just a big long ball forward from Courtois right in behind. Vinicius Junior had the beating of Marquinhos and Beraldo, but from that left-back position, Nuno Mendes is just so quick. Just covers the ground. Vinicius Junior thought he was about to shoot and had it taken off his toe. What defending that was.
2-0, PSG lead with 21 minutes played on TalkSport, and you're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on TalkSport, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com. As Real try and get something going here. Gonzalo wide to the far side of Vinicius Junior. The cross in is deep, but it's headed away initially by Marquinhos, and then Vitinha again is just happy to pick up the pieces. Keeps it simple. Wide towards Kvaratskhelia and João Neves. Infield again to Nuno Mendes, and again Hakimi is heavily advanced. It's almost a back three with Hakimi playing on the right-hand side of midfield, and he looks to release the pace of Doué now, and Fran Garcia is scrambling. Both players have got hold of each other's shirt by the corner flag on this near side. The PSG right, Doué trying to hold off Fran Garcia, waits for support, and he finds it from Hakimi. Quickly into the path of Dembele, and now square to Vitinha again, and a high angle ball wide to the left, and Kvaratskhelia. Valverde again is backpedaling. Kvaratskhelia went for the audacious back heel, but he could have simply played the reverse ball to Ruiz, who would have been in.
Yeah, he did try the elaborate back heel, but I tell you what attitude from the Georgian. He obviously tried that. He then went shoulder to shoulder with Valverde, won the ball back straight away. That's the change, that's the difference in his PSG side. is that attitude and that desire.
Relatively speaking to anywhere else in New Jersey today, there are a lot of Georgian flags in the stadium. The MetLife is close to its 80,000 capacity, but I would imagine at least 3/4 of them are watching Real Madrid and not happy at the moment. But here is Mbappe on the move down the left-hand side, cuts it through into the penalty area, goes for the right-footed curler. But Marquinhos stuck with him stride for stride, makes the block, and it loops harmlessly into the arms of Donnarumma.
Well, R9 is here, and that felt very R9ish, the way we saw him drift right from the halfway line out to the left-hand side, that pace that he's got, and just jinked inside between Dembele and Marquinhos. Marquinhos stuck to his task brilliantly. He didn't dive in, he just waited and waited, didn't fall for the fake shot to start with from Mbappe, and then as he tried to curl it in the far corner, Marquinhos stepped across for the block.
Real Madrid have got to score the next goal, should there be one. I think if Paris score again, it's all over, because they are the better team at the moment. Since the 2 goals, there's not been a huge response from Real Madrid. It's Hakimi again, striding forward now over the halfway line on the right, and he's played in by Dembele, and Hakimi could be in here. So much support inside the area. Ruiz makes it 3-0 with a brilliant goal. Paris Saint-Germain devastating on the counter-attack, and they've surely sealed their place in the final already. Real Madrid do not know what has hit them here. 3-0 down with barely 24 minutes played, and that counter-attack was absolutely brilliant. Hakimi at the heart of it. A second goal for Fabian Ruiz, and Xabi Alonso and his players look absolutely stunned. Devastating for Paris Saint-Germain on the break. Brilliantly worked. Hakimi at the heart of it. Plays it to Doué, receives it back. Plays it to Dembele, receives it back, and he's in behind. The Real Madrid defence is absolutely all over the place. I thought Fabio Ruiz had done a little bit too much in the end as he got played across to him. He could have just side-footed it in first time. He didn't. He took a touch. Valverde got back, but then Fabio Ruiz just turned, swiveled, and sent it the wrong side of Courtois, who guessed the wrong way, giving Paris Saint-Germain a 3-0 lead. And they'll feel like they can just go on and get more. Well, we shouldn't be surprised. They did this to Inter in the Champions League final. And, of course, it's another game on another day, but this looks pretty ominous for Chelsea.
It does. We talked about whether they would be tested defensively. Well, yeah, get ready. This is a serious outfit, this Paris Saint-Germain team. Got everything at the moment. And they're making Real Madrid look very ordinary.
And we shouldn't do down the work that Mbappe did for Paris Saint-Germain. 256 goals in 308 games, but he's gone. And players like Dembele have really come to the fore, and they look so much more of a team now.
Yeah, they do. They look like they enjoy the work. You know, I just talked about Kvaratskhelia there, trying something elaborate, but then instantly the reaction was to turn, sprint, and win the ball back. And as great as Mbappe is, that's not what he'll do. And you can sense that the team ethic now with this Paris Saint-Germain team, and that's why they're getting the rewards there. Just terrific, but also they're terrific to watch. There's nothing dull about the way they play. It's very much, you know, you look at Hakimi's position, really high and wide.
Well, they've now scored at least 3 goals in 7 of their last 9 games. And when you look at what they've done here, 4-0 against Atletico Madrid. Of course, they also put 4 past Miami, and they've beaten Bayern with a clean sheet 2-0. Botafogo, the only team to score against them, and of course they beat them. But Real Madrid are chasing shadows here. They are 3-0 down, and they're showing absolutely no sign of doing anything else other than conceding more goals.
You know, they've gone into their shell slightly as well, just sitting really deep now, Real Madrid. And they'll enjoy this. they've got players in that midfield, Martinez, Neves, and the likes. They love to get on the ball and just keep popping it around, making you run.
Still, France 1, Wales 1 in the Women's Euros over on TalkSport 2. As Doué comes forward again now for Paris Saint-Germain, and they are knocking the ball around here with a degree of arrogance, but it's arrogance that they're entitled to, and the challenge comes in from Charmaine, really born of frustration from the French international, and he gets a yellow card into the back of Hakimi, and I think that basically is someone who's sick and tired of the way this game is going.
Yes, it is. It is. Oh, look, he's a fraction late, but he really does dive into the challenge. Hakimi does well to jump out the way almost and just receive a light bit of contact, but he really threw himself into that. Germany.
If you've just joined us, 28 minutes played on TalkSport. Paris Saint-Germain 3, Real Madrid 0. Spanish international Fabian Ruiz with 2 of the goals. Ousmane Dembele scoring his 35th of the season. He got the other. And there was talk before this game, Mbappe was saying, look, there's only one person who should get the Ballon d'Or this season, and it's Ousmane Dembele, but they've got a whole team of Ballon d'Or contenders at the moment.
Yeah, he's been special, but you're right. So many great performances this year from Paris Saint-Germain players.
Here is Dembele again coming forward. He's got Hakimi on the overlap, right-hand side, pull back, and Bellingham dives in to concede a corner. And the look on Jude Bellingham's face tells you all you need to know, because you can't believe it.
No. And what he said as well, I won't
be repeating that, no.
But that says it all as well, is that he's frustrated. He's having to put in a lot of work at the moment defensively, and they're not doing it particularly well, Real Madrid. They're certainly not doing it as a team.
Well, as a former Barcelona man, Luis Enrique will be loving this. Ratinha will take the corner kick. But he is somebody who has taken on a job which has foxed so many very good coaches, and he has turned Paris Saint-Germain into a super team. As the corner kick just glances off the head of Ronaldo. It's gathered now by Nuno Mendes. Fran Garcia shows him the inside, and Nuno Mendes goes beyond him. The crossing now is blocked by Asensio. Headed away by Fran Garcia, but now Kvaratskhelia in a central area, onto the right foot, fires it in. Blocked by the backside of Rudiger. And Hakimi will go all the way back to Donnarumma, who could have had a cigar on and got a deck chair out so far.
I mean, the space is out wide at the moment for PSG once again here on the left.
Nuno Mendes forward again. Now Kvaratskhelia comes in field. The cross is very deep. It deflects onto the path of Ousmane Dembele. And the flag is up for offside. Well, that's an interesting call, because that cross took a deflection, so presumably Dembele was offside when it was struck, or maybe Kvaratskhelia in the first place.
Yeah, I think it was that earlier pass, wasn't it? Eventually Fabian Ruiz putting the cross in. I don't think Dembele was offside, but I mean, it's too easy at the moment. I just wonder whether already Xabi Alonso is thinking, I should have stuck with the back three and maybe look to play Germany in that back three. Valverde as a right wing back, and maybe even Modric in that midfield instead of a Bellingham or Gula. But so far, going to a back four has been disastrous.
Well, they're going for a cooling break, and there's no doubt that Paris Saint-Germain have been red hot so far, leading by 3-0 on TalkSport. Fabian Ruiz with 2 of the goals, Ousmane Dembele with the other. 8 shots on goal, 5 on target, 80% possession against Real Madrid. Real Madrid with 4 shots, 1 on target, and at the moment they don't know which way to turn. And in the midst of all of that, Courtois has also made 2 absolutely brilliant saves.
Yeah, especially the one with his feet from Nuno Mendes. That was a special save. I mean, he is both ends you've got arguably the two best goalkeepers in the world. There's nothing Courtois has been able to do. Look, two massive mistakes, of course, from Real Madrid has gifted two of the goals, but actually the performance has been well worth the 3-0 so far.
Still 1-1 between France and Wales at the Women's Euro. 3 minutes to play in the first half there. Very important for Wales to get to half-time, at least on level terms. The French have just had a penalty appeal waved off by VAR. At the moment, Xabi Alonso has had a few moments with his team to try and sort things out, because at the moment, before they can even think about any sort of comeback, they've got to stem the flow of PSG attacks. And Alonso at the moment and his players have been absolutely powerless. This is a team who, when they get to this stage of major competitions, usually you just know they're going to go through. They played 9 successive Champions League finals since Liverpool beat them in 1981. They've won the lot. That is the measure of this club. The players come and go, the coaches come and go, but they just get the job done. But here today, they have been all over the place.
Yeah, they have. They have. Obviously, there's been the changes. Howson being suspended, no. Alexander-Arnold as well, so a reshuffle, of course. But, you know, the gulf between the two sides so far, after 33 minutes, is quite staggering. And Xabi Alonso using that cooling break to really get all the players together. Very animated in trying to get his point across, probably tactically. So we'll see if there'll be a change between now and half-time.
Guys, double tap on your screen, double tap. 34 minutes played. Paris Saint-Germain 3, Real Madrid 0. Here on TalkSport, we'll have the final live on TalkSport 2 on Sunday night, 8 o'clock kickoff from the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. At the moment, it is going to be Chelsea against Paris Saint-Germain. As Real Madrid seem powerless to prevent the Parisians piling on more and more pressure here. You can hear the whistles from the crowd, and this is the Real fans, because they want their team to try and engage here, but they're just, at the moment, trying to prevent Paris Saint-Germain from cutting them to shreds.
Yeah, they're just, I think, look, Xabi Alonso will want a defensive structure, and they want to see more of it. So there might have to be a bit of pain for those Real Madrid supporters, certainly till half-time, while they just try and regain a bit of confidence in the game.
Well, a crowd of close to 80,000 here. There were over 80,000 here a year ago today when Argentina beat Canada in the semi-finals of the Copa America in this stadium. But another big crowd, many of them arriving expectantly, waiting to see Real go through as Doué chases a long ball into the penalty area, but this time Courtois is able to swoop at his feet, but there is so much room in behind. Now Bellingham, infield again, and it's worked wide by Gonzalo to find Vinicius Junior, and the space for Bellingham, right hand side of the penalty area. Mbappe, Arda Güler takes over. Valverde is forward here, a couple of step overs from Mbappe, but he's given the ball away. And Kvaratskhelia can charge forward on another counter-attack here. He's got Dembele in support. The challenge comes in, though, from a retreating Bellingham, who won the ball. And it's a good job for him that he did, because otherwise it would have been a red card.
Oh, he's a competitor, all right, is Jude Bellingham. You get him fired up, you'll see the best of him. But charging back there after Kvaratskhelia took the ball off Mbappe, nutmegged Güler. And Bellingham chased him down, won the ball brilliantly for his side, because it looked like they were on for another counter-attack goal.
We'll be back to the Wales-France game in a moment, but here is Vinicius Junior for Real. Gonzalo Garcia, Vinicius Junior again down the left-hand side, an opportunity to cross, but he checks back beyond Hakimi, then lofts the ball back into the midfield. Bellingham has it 30 yards out. He's got support from Arda, but there's no way through for Real at the moment. Bellingham again, and they are so narrow. Every time Bellingham looks up and looks for the width, there's no one there. But now Valverde in a central area, finding Mbappe inside the penalty area. It needs to be a good cross, but the challenge comes in from Jean Neves. He won the ball, and that attack comes to an end. So let's go back to Emily Herbert, who's watching the game over on TalkSport 2 at the moment between Wales and France.
And France are back in front, and it's heartbreak for Wales. Kerry Holland giving away a penalty. Diani with the strike. It's initially saved by Middleton Patel, but rolls it anyway. Just 5 minutes before half-time, it's France 2, Wales 1.
Oh, that's a shame. A penalty from Diani, almost apologetically creeping over the line, but France do have the lead. Of course, England really underlining their credentials after that defeat against the French, beating the Netherlands 4-0 on TalkSport earlier on, as Mbappe receives some treatment here. He was challenged by João Neves inside the area, but Simon Marciniak made it very clear he thought he got the ball.
He did eventually. I think there was a slight touch on Mbappe's, or it was a slight touch on his toe. He felt like he was just quick enough to skip away. João Neves then did get the ball at the second attempt. It's not a penalty though. There's not enough contact, that's for sure. Marciniak, the referee, very experienced now, won't fall for that.
Olivier Deschamps is among those watching here today. He's had an interesting relationship with Mbappe over the last couple of years, and it will be interesting to see how that develops ahead of the World Cup. Of course, the French will be considered one of the favourites to be playing in the final here in 12 months' time. The MetLife will host 8 games in the 2026 World Cup. Here is Kvaratskhelia, plays the 1-2 at Dembele. Kvaratskhelia into the penalty area, and he fires the right-footed shot wide, when for all the world he looks set to make it 4-0.
Well, that combination at the moment of Valverde and Asensio is just not working defensively. It's too easy. Kvaratskhelia just popping it in, getting it back, opening up the space, cutting onto his right foot with ease. He gets it wrong. There's no curl on that. He just hits it dead straight and it goes wide rather than getting the curl on it into the far corner around Courtois. But again, it's too easy for PSG to get in behind the Real Madrid defence.
5 minutes to play in the first half. Paris Saint-Germain 3, Real Madrid 0. Don't forget, TalkSport Breakfast returning tomorrow morning from 6, Alan Brazil, alongside Carlton Cole. I'm sure they'll be reflecting on this game, whatever happens in the next hour or so. Looking ahead to a massive weekend of football. TalkSport 2 has Spain against Italy for you from the Women's Euro on Friday night, and then a massive double-header coming up on Sunday. On TalkSport it will be England against Wales from the Women's Euro with the Club World Cup final. Chelsea against Paris Saint-Germain at the moment. That will be live with myself and Dean over on TalkSport 2. Just laid back into the path of Marquinhos once again, and Real Madrid just need a break here. There needs something to happen for them, either a mistake or an outrageous piece of skill to get them back in the game. Now Rudiger with a strong challenge, wins it back. Bellingham with the opportunity to break forward. Vinicius Junior tries to find him with a return ball on the edge of the penalty area, but it was behind Bellingham. And very quickly, Paris Saint-Germain are happy to go from back to front, seeking out Dembele. And on this occasion, Courtois was able to clear. And here is Valverde. On the far side, the right. But again, Real Madrid are so stodgy in midfield, just finding it difficult to either pick the pass or produce the width to try and create the opportunity. But maybe now, Valverde with space on the right, pulls it back, but it's blocked by Fabian Ruiz. Valverde again. And Fran Garcia losing out to Nuno Mendes, pulls his shirt, and it will be a free kick, and the opportunity passes for Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's so obvious, isn't it, that there isn't that width. The Real Madrid forward line all wanted to feet. There isn't the threat in behind, whereas the array of attacking options that PSG have, and the way that they can hurt you, whether that's playing in short, switching it wide, looking in behind, just opens the picture right up for the player in possession.
Fabio Ruiz just hobbling at the moment. He does have his left thigh heavily strapped. Of course, it didn't prevent him scoring 2 goals so far in the game. Half-time, it is France 2, Wales 1 at the Women's Euro, as Hakimi will chase on this near side, the right, but Rudiger plays it back towards Courtois. He sweeps it high downfield. But again, Beraldo has got so much time to find Fabian Ruiz. Paris Saint-Germain have got the liberty to just play the ball around at their own pace here. 2 minutes before half-time, leading by 3 goals to 0.
Oh, no answers. 0 answers at the moment from Real Madrid. And not enough effort as a team to turn this around at the moment. It's just good fun for PSG at this stage. 3-0, coasting. Every time they want to get it to Hakimi, they can. He's free every time.
And now Hakimi plays it down the line, right-hand side for Dembele. And the first time ball into the penalty area, cleared by Asensio, but Dembele was offside. And of course, Xabi Alonso scored the equaliser for Liverpool when they came from 3-0 down in the Champions League final 20 years ago. And they need something similar at the moment, because they've lacked inspiration, they've made mistakes, they've gifted goals to Paris Saint-Germain, and they look wide open. And if this is a taste of things to come in La Liga this season, it should be a very interesting season.
I just wonder if he'll make a change at half-time. Maybe even sacrifice, young Gonzalo Garcia and just have a bit of a reshuffle tactically. Leave Vinicius Junior and Mbappe up front, but look to try and stop the threat of PSG down the sides. They have to do something about Hakimi. Somebody has to start to cover him. Every time they want to get it out to him, they just play it out. He's got loads of time and space, and he's really hurting Real Madrid at the moment.
Now Fabian Ruiz, who is of course on a hat-trick. He gathers the ball off Nuno Mendes again, and we're into a minimum of 3 more minutes. Real Madrid would like to drag themselves off the pitch as soon as possible and try and sort 1 or 2 things out here. If you've just joined us on TalkSport, 3 goals in the opening 24 minutes for Paris Saint-Germain. And there could have been more. Now Hakimi finding Dembele on the halfway line. Hakimi goes through the gears again down the right, but this time Fran Garcia comes back to make the challenge, but that's at the expense of a corner for Paris Saint-Germain.
I feel a bit sorry for him at the moment, Fran Garcia. He's not got any help. At times he's being outnumbered. He's working incredibly hard. He's trying his best, but he needs some help.
Put it this way, Vinicius Junior is...
He's not.
Corner kick here. And the Parisian supporters inside the stadium really enjoying this. Another goal at this stage would just top off the perfect first half for them. Well, Coutinho will take this. Hakimi comes as the short option. I think Coutinho will look to swing this ball in and look for players like Marquinhos and Beraldo, but it's headed away by Rudiger. Nuno Mendes gathers now, drives into the penalty area. His shot beaten away at the near post by Courtois. And now there's the opportunity for Aragula to bring it forward, but he was pulled back by João Neves and he receives a yellow card.
Yeah, it was a good strike from Nuno Mendes. Just used his pace to give himself half a yard, struck towards the far post, but Courtois equal to it, patting that away. And then João Neves clearly just pulling back Arda Güler for the yellow card.
45 seconds of added time to play in the first half. Here is Arda Güler in towards Mbappe. There was the glimmer of an opportunity there, but the pass had maybe just too much pace on it, and it was gathered by Donnarumma.
Oh, he's better than that. I know he's a very young man, 20 years old, Arda Güler, but he's way better than that pass, because it was a great run from Mbappe, just down the side of Beraldo. All he needed was the pass and he was in, and it was overhit from Güler. That was an opportunity.
Now João Neves. And it's played wide by Fabian Ruiz again. Paris Saint-Germain here in complete control. And now Dembele's got another opportunity to break. Swirls it into the penalty area. And I think he was going for goal. And it was tipped over by Courtois, who may have injured himself in making the save as the half-time whistle goes.
Well, I'm not sure Dembele means this, because he looks up for Doué, he's completely free. It's terrible defending once again for Real Madrid. If that ball is better, then Doué has got an opportunity 1v1 against Courtois. I think he just spoons the cross. Courtois does brilliantly to get back towards his goal and stop it falling into that top corner. Hurts himself in the process, falling in to the back of the goal. And it could have been 4.
Well, one-way traffic in the first half. Paris Saint-Germain have been scintillating. Real Madrid have been awful. And there is a good deal of food for thought for Chelsea at half-time. It is Paris Saint-Germain 3, Real Madrid 0.
What a first-half performance there from PSG, utterly dominating. Dean, we spoke about it before the game, how fluid that PSG front three were. We certainly saw that in that first half.
Oh, we did. I mean, they're devastating, especially on the break if you give them space. And look, Real Madrid's defending has been truly awful. Forget any level, it's just been awful, so disorganised, but so impressive the way they've took advantage, PSG. I mean, every time they just switch play, Hakimi's either free or Kvaratskhelia gets the ball and is then driving at the Real Madrid defence. They're making it look so easy. It's not, but Real Madrid are helping that, that's for sure. I've not seen them look this poor for a very long time defensively.
No, I agree. All right, then we'll catch up a little bit more later on. Over on TalkSport 2 right now, you can hear live commentary of France against Wales in the Women's Euros. And let's get an update with TalkSport.